Android 17 stumbles through the desolate wilderness, his mechanical joints clicking with every strained movement as he nurses wounds inflicted by the combined might of Goku and future Gohan. The once arrogant cyborg feels a cold dread pooling in his chest, knowing that while he cannot be sensed by his pursuers, his internal systems are flagging, and his energy reserves are dangerously low. He looks over his shoulder at the empty horizon, wondering if he can truly find a way to heal and plan a counterattack, or if he is simply delaying the inevitable end of his brief, violent existence. As Android 17 navigates the rugged terrain, he suddenly stops, finding his path blocked by a grotesque, insect-like creature that exudes an aura of ancient, hungry malice. This being, which looks more like an alien bug than a human, introduces itself as Cell, a fellow creation of the late Dr. Gero. Android 17 stares at the bio-android's chitinous green armor and sharp features, feeling a surge of uncertainty as he tries to determine if this new entity is a mechanical ally or a failsafe designed to eliminate rogue creations. Cell observes the battered state of Android 17 with a clinical, predatory gaze, noting the sparks jumping from his open wounds and the labored rhythm of his cooling fans. He explains that he is a bio-android synthesized from the genetic data of the world's greatest warriors, and he offers the dying cyborg a chance at survival. Cell claims that with their powers combined, they could easily dismantle the Saiyans who humiliated them, but he makes it clear that Android 17 is currently too weak to even survive another hour on his own. Android 17 listens with growing suspicion, eventually asking what the catch is for this sudden partnership, only for Cell to admit that he requires Android 17 to be absorbed into his own body. The cyborg reveals with a grim satisfaction that Android 18 has already been killed by their enemies, a fact that momentarily irritates the monster. Despite the loss of his sister, Android 17 refuses to surrender his free will and become a mere component of another's consciousness, bracing himself for a fight he knows he is likely to lose. Cell loses his patience and lashes out with a speed that defies Android 17's optical sensors, making it clear that he will take what he needs by force if it is not given willingly. The ensuing struggle is brief and brutal, as the injured Android 17 finds his attacks are utterly fruitless against the overwhelming power of the bio-android. Cell shifts form from his initial state into semi-perfect Cell, utilizing the word base to describe his point of origin. Now semi-perfect Cell stands tall, his muscles bulging and his power level skyrocketing as he laments that he cannot achieve true perfection without the deceased Android 18. Semi-perfect Cell realizes that while his ultimate form may be out of reach for now, the energy he has gained from Android 17 is more than enough to test the limits of the remaining fighters. He feels a dark exhilaration coursing through his new body, sensing that his unique genetic makeup makes him far more formidable than any previous iteration of his design. Driven by a desire for revenge and the need to slaughter those who killed his sibling android, Semi-Perfect Cell begins tracking the heroes, his presence manifesting as a terrifying amalgamation of their own familiar energies. Nearby, the Z-Fighters freeze as they sense a massive, evil energy approaching, one that feels disturbingly like a cocktail of their own powers, combined into a single, malicious entity. Goku and future Gohan are still recovering from their previous battle, and decide to seek Senzu beans from Korin, leaving the others to face the unknown threat. Vegeta, Piccolo, and Trunks stand their ground, their eyes narrowing as Semi-Perfect Cell descends from the sky, his green skin glistening in the sunlight as he mocks them for the death of Android 18. Vegeta shifts form from his base state into Super Saiyan Vegeta. The golden aura of Super Saiyan Vegeta flares brightly as he launches himself at Semi-Perfect Cell, delivering a flurry of punches and kicks that would have pulverized any ordinary foe. Semi-Perfect Cell simply stands there with a smug grin, allowing the Prince of Saiyans to land direct hits that do absolutely no damage to his reinforced exoskeleton. The monster's power is so immense that he barely registers the effort, proving that he is leagues beyond the strength of a standard android. Trunks, Piccolo, and Kid Gohan join the fray, desperate to find a weakness in Semi-Perfect Cell's defenses, but their coordinated strikes are brushed aside like mere gnats. Semi-Perfect Cell decides it is time to retaliate, lifting a hand to erupt energy from the earth that sends the warriors sprawling across the cracked landscape. He uses telekinesis to lift Super Saiyan Vegeta into the air, laughing as the Saiyan struggles against the invisible grip, before Semi-Perfect Cell begins exchanging blows with a fraction of his true strength. Each time Kid Gohan is knocked down by the heavy hand of Semi-Perfect Cell, the young boy drags himself back to his feet, his small frame trembling with a burgeoning, uncontrollable rage. Semi-Perfect Cell finds the display amusing, mockingly comparing the child's fury to a temper tantrum even as he notices the boy's power level spiking with every breath. The air begins to crackle with static, as Kid Gohan's anger reaches a breaking point, his determination to protect the Earth from this monster manifesting as a violent storm of energy. Kid Gohan shifts form from his base state into Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan. A massive emerald aura erupts from the Earth, carving a deep crater as Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan stands with hair turned a vivid, shocking green. Semi-Perfect Cell's eyes widen in genuine surprise as the boy rockets forward, delivering a punch to the bio-android's face that finally draws blood and causes the monster to recoil in pain. The rage in Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan is absolute, blinding him to everything but the destruction of his opponent. Goku and future Gohan arrive at the scene of the carnage just in time to witness the terrifying spectacle of the young boy's transformation into a berserker. Goku feels a heavy weight in his heart, having dreaded the day his son would tap into this unstable, legendary power that is so difficult to restrain. They see Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan locked in a savage exchange with Semi-Perfect Cell, who is now forced to use more of his energy just to keep the small green-haired warrior at bay. Goku shifts form from his base state into Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, and future Gohan shifts form from his base state into Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan. The battlefield is suddenly occupied by 3 legendary warriors, their combined green auras illuminating the darkening sky as they descend upon Semi-Perfect Cell with coordinated ferocity. Semi-Perfect Cell finds himself overwhelmed by the sheer volume of attacks, his regeneration struggling to keep up as Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, and Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan hammer him from all sides. Faced with certain destruction, Semi-Perfect Cell realizes that since he possesses Goku's genetic code, he should technically be able to tap into the same legendary reservoir of energy. He lets out a primal scream that echoes across the continent, his body bulking up as his yellow aura is replaced by a thick, sickly green light. Semi-Perfect Cell shifts form from his base-derived semi-perfect state into Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell. With his eyes turning a stark, empty white, Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell laughs at the newfound power surging through his veins, declaring that perfection is no longer necessary. The battle resumes with terrifying intensity as Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell begins to outmatch the 3 Saiyans, his power increasing exponentially with every blow he lands and every wound he heals. He brutally beats down the youngest fighter, causing Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan to shift form from his legendary state into base Kid Gohan as he falls unconscious. Now fully drunk on his own power and losing his sanity, Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell focuses his torture on Legendary Super Saiyan Goku and Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, tossing them through mountains with effortless, savage strength. Legendary Super Saiyan Goku notices something strange as the monster continues to grow in size, his attacks becoming increasingly sloppy, and his own limbs exploding under the pressure of his uncontained energy. He realizes that Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell is being consumed by the very power he sought to master, as his bio-android body cannot stabilize the endless growth of the legendary form. Piccolo shouts a warning that if the monster is allowed to reach his limit, he will detonate with enough force to vaporize the entire solar system. Kid Gohan shifts form from his base state into Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan, rejoining the fight with a desperate focus as the Z-Fighters realize they must move the ticking time bomb off-planet. Together, Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan, and Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan tackle the massive, warping body of Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell. They fly him upward through the atmosphere, dodging his clumsy, oversized strikes as the monster's flesh begins to tear and regenerate in a grotesque, unending cycle. High above the Earth's atmosphere, the 3 Saiyans release their hold on the gargantuan creature and unleash a combined, final Kamehameha to propel him deep into the void of space. Legendary Semi-Perfect Cell vibrates with unstable energy, his body swelling until he finally detonates in a silent, blinding emerald explosion that lights up the stars. Once the threat is neutralized, Legendary Super Saiyan Kid Gohan remains in a berserk state and attacks his father, prompting Legendary Super Saiyan Future Gohan to deliver a swift chop to the boy's neck to render him unconscious as the ordeal finally ends. Future Gohan and Future Trunks stand amidst the smoking ruins of the battlefield, the air still thick with the ozone of fading energy and the heavy silence that follows a narrow victory. While their mission to save the past from the mechanical terror of Cell is technically complete, Future Gohan looks at his younger self with a heavy, lingering responsibility. He knows that the volatile power of the legendary lineage is a double-edged sword, and he cannot bear to return to his own timeline while the young Gohan remains a potential powder keg of uncontrolled rage. Goku wipes the sweat and grime from his brow, his mind racing for a way to expedite the boy's mastery before the travelers must depart for their own era. The sun beats down on the group as Goku suggests the Room of Spirit and Time, a mystical void of endless white where months of grueling progress can be condensed into mere hours of outside time. It offers the perfect, isolated sanctuary for Gohan to confront his inner demons without the risk of leveling a city or endangering his friends should the power overflow again. The heavy, ornate door of the Lookout's chamber clicks shut with a finality that echoes through the white expanse, sealing Gohan, future Gohan, and Goku within a realm of crushing gravity and absolute silence. They move into a rhythmic, punishing dance of combat and meditation, the two elder warriors guiding the youth through the mental hurdles of their shared lineage. The environment is harsh and unforgiving, forcing Gohan to find a center of calm amidst a sea of pure, unadulterated white that threatens to swallow his focus. Days bleed into weeks within the white expanse, and future Gohan finds a strange, poignant brotherhood with a younger version of himself. He watches as the boy begins to feel a new clarity, a steady hand finally gripping the rudder of his immense power and replacing his former dread with a quiet, steely confidence. Gohan moves with a grace he never possessed before, his movements no longer jerky with the fear of his own strength but fluid and purposeful, under the watchful eyes of his father and his future self. The trio eventually emerges from the temple, their hair slightly longer, and their spirits significantly bolstered after months of secluded labor in the void. Future Gohan and future Trunks offer their final goodbyes on the Lookout's tile floor, boarding the time machine with a newfound sense of peace. They depart into the sky, leaving behind a present timeline that is now shielded by a young boy who finally understands the weight of his own potential and the discipline required to carry it. In the years that follow this departure, Gohan refuses to let his guard down, driven by a persistent motivation to keep the berserk beast within him locked behind doors of iron discipline. He trains relentlessly with Goku under the bright sun of the countryside, the two of them pushing the boundaries of their legendary gifts to ensure the power remains a tool rather than a master. The environment is vibrant and peaceful, yet Gohan treats every session with the gravity of a real battle, fearing that complacency might invite the rage to return. While the others revel in the unique heritage of the legendary form, Vegeta carves his own path through sheer force of will, refusing to be left behind by the legendary duo. He trains in isolation, his screams of effort echoing through his gravity chamber as he refines the standard Super Saiyan transformation into something that can bridge the gap between mere talent and his royal ambition. He ignores the natural gifts of his rivals, focusing instead on the cold, hard efficiency of a warrior who has earned every ounce of his burgeoning strength. The long-standing peace of the World Martial Arts Tournament is eventually shattered when the group follows the wizard Babidi to his subterranean lair hidden beneath the rocky wasteland. Shin, the Supreme Kai, stands trembling with a caution that borders on terror, sensing the ancient, suffocating evil of Majin Buu lurking deep within the Earth's crust. The wind howls across the desolate plains as the warriors prepare for a confrontation that feels far more dire than any tournament match. Outside the wizard's hidden ship, the Demon King Dabura stands ready to claim the lives of the intruders, his presence radiating a cold, dark malice that seems to sap the light from the air. Gohan and Goku stand together on the dry earth, their muscles tensing as they prepare to unveil the fruits of their long years of training. The tension is palpable, a thick shroud of anticipation that hangs over the wasteland as the group stares down the king of the demon realm. Goku transitions from his base form into a state of controlled Legendary Super Saiyan. Simultaneously, Gohan shifts from his base form into his own controlled Legendary Super Saiyan state. Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Goku and Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan radiate a calm but terrifying pressure, their golden-green auras flickering like steady flames against the dimming sky as they fix their eyes on the Demon King. They move with a synchronized precision that speaks of their years of sparring together in the wilderness. Vegeta shifts from his base form into a Super Saiyan 2. Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta plunges into the dark depths of the ship to hunt the wizard, triggering a massive, earth-shaking explosion that rocks the landscape and momentarily distracts the Demon King. Seizing this golden opening, Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Goku and Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan launch twin energy blasts that converge with devastating force. The light of the attack is blinding, and when it clears, the Demon King Dabura has been vaporized instantly. Deep within his magical barrier, Babidi survives the blast, his spindly fingers twitching with a twisted glee as he observes the legendary warriors from the shadows of his monitor. He senses a tiny fracture in the mind of Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, a lingering, buried fear of the berserk rage that once defined the legendary power. The wizard cackles, realizing that he does not need a willing servant if he can simply unlock the monster that the warrior has worked so hard to bury. Babidi reaches into the subconscious of the warrior, twisting those old fears into a chaotic storm of unbridled, primitive aggression. Goku transitions from his controlled Legendary Super Saiyan form into a state of Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan. Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku roars, a sound that shakes the very foundations of the earth, as his eyes turn a vacant, terrifying white. The controlled aura he once held so tightly now explodes outward in a jagged, violent corona of energy that obliterates the ground beneath his feet. Shin watches in absolute horror as the energy spills out, realizing Babidi has found a shortcut to reviving Buu through the sheer magnitude of this mindless carnage. Gohan and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta are forced to engage Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku, their strikes creating massive shockwaves that tear through the air as they struggle to contain the monster. Every punch thrown by Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku carries the weight of a falling mountain, forcing the defenders back with every desperate exchange. The battle drifts dangerously close to the World Tournament grounds, where thousands of innocent spectators remain unaware of the divine struggle approaching their location. Gohan and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta desperately try to steer the rampaging Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku away from the city, but the beast is relentless and focused only on the immediate thrill of destruction. The skyline of the city looms in the distance, a fragile target for the overflowing power of a warrior who no longer knows his own friends. Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku charges a sphere of condensed energy in his palm, a miniature sun of pure annihilation aimed directly at the crowded stands of the arena. Controlled Legendary Super Saiyan Gohan and Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta stand their ground in the center of the ring, pouring every ounce of their power into a desperate counterattack. The air sizzles with the heat of the approaching blast, and the spectators' cheers turn to screams of terror as the sky is swallowed by the glow of impending doom. Seeing the raw terror in the eyes of his mother and his young brother, something snaps deep within Gohan's soul, replacing his own fear with an unyielding, protective resolve. Gohan transitions from his controlled Legendary Super Saiyan form into the unprecedented state of Legendary Super Saiyan 2. Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan erupts with crackling blue electricity and a massive, blinding surge of power that pushes back the darkness. With a primal shout, Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan deflects the killing blow and strikes Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan Goku with a force that finally shatters the Berserk trance. Goku transitions from his Berserk Legendary Super Saiyan form back into his base form as he falls unconscious toward the shattered tiles of the arena. As the dust settles and Legendary Super Saiyan 2 Gohan reverts to his base form, a high-pitched mocking laughter echoes from the clouds above. Babidi descends, standing atop the shoulders of a rotund, pink creature that radiates a childish but bottomless malice. Majin Buu begins turning the fleeing crowd into candy with a casual wave of his hand, signaling that while the internal beast has been tamed, a far more gluttonous evil has finally arrived.